Hi, I'm Tom Ritty. This is Behind the Lens, a look at what goes on in television on the other side of the camera. Television is recognized by many to be the single most important and influential form of mass communication humankind has ever developed. But what exactly do we mean by the term mass communication? And if television is the most important and influential form of mass communication today, what other forms of mass communication existed before the invention of television? The Internet, which coincidentally also happens to be a form of mass communication, defines the term mass communication as follows: the means by which information is conveyed to a large group of people at the same time. TV newscasts are a perfect case in point of television as a mass communication tool. Programs such as NBC's Nightly News and High School South's own Week in Review are both examples of television shows that get information to a lot of people at the same time. Here's an exaggerated example. Suppose that the Hubble Space Telescope suddenly discovered an asteroid heading straight for the Earth. The scientists at the Hubble Lab obviously want to warn as many people as they can so those people can run to the nearest cave and take cover. So the scientists call the local television station and tell them the asteroid is on its way. In turn, the station broadcasts the message out over the television, and millions of people get the same news that the asteroid is on its way at roughly the same time. But what did people rely on to get their information before television? In early times, smoke signals were used to send a message from one place to another. A person could get the message out to a lot of people fairly quickly, but the problem with smoke signals was that they had a limited range, and they were useless on a rainy day. And of course, if you didn't know how to read smoke signals, you weren't going to understand the message even if you saw it. In the past, drums were used to communicate information, but like smoke signals, they had their limitations. For one, the sound of a drum didn't travel very far, so to get the message to travel long distances, it had to be relayed and repeated over and over again by other drums. That meant there was always a danger that the message would change along the way. And there's always the problem that if you don't know how to interpret drum beats, you couldn't decipher the message even if you heard it. Light signals, such as reflected sunlight from a mirror or other polished surface, or signal fires, were used to communicate long distances, but again, the success of the message was dependent on the weather and the terrain. A person, for example, relying on reflected light to send a signal, but who also happened to be located in a mountain valley, would have a tough time getting their message through the mountain. And of course, you always had to worry whether or not the person receiving the message could actually understand it once they saw it. Animals such as horses, dogs, and even birds were often used to deliver written and oral messages over long distances, but they were usually slow and unreliable, and the messages they could carry were limited by size and weight. It wasn't until 1834 that mass communication became semi-practical, and that thanks to an invention that revolutionized point-to-point long-distance communication, the telegraph. Taking a look behind the lens, I'm Tom Ritty.